As the world hastens the search for a vaccine, COVID-19 cases across the world continues to surge. Total number of infections has now reached 32.2 million, while the number of deaths is approaching the 1 million mark with about 980,000. On the other hand, recovery rates is now 22.2 million. The United States still has the highest rate of infections with a steady rise of about 6.9 million. India follows closely with about 5.8 million cases. Brazil remains at number 3 with about 4.6 million infections, and Russia is next with about 1.1 million cases, and Colombia is 5th on the log with about 790,000 infections. This is COVID-19 Myths and Facts. Welcome on board. Now, there are various myths attached to COVID-19, but today we focus on the use of pepper, thermal scanners, and tell you who can be infected with COVID-19, and this is according to the World Health Organization. While adding pepper to your soup or other meals can only make it tasty but doesn't prevent or cure COVID-19, the best way to protect yourself against the new coronavirus is to keep at least 1 meter away from others and to wash your hands frequently and thoroughly. It is also beneficial for your general health to maintain a balanced diet, stay well hydrated, exercise regularly, and sleep well. Well, thermal scanners are effective in detecting people who have a fever but can't detect people who are infected with COVID-19. And there are many causes of fever. Call your healthcare provider if you need assistance or seek immediate medical care. And people of all ages can be infected by the COVID-19 virus. Older people and younger people can be infected by the COVID-19 virus. Older people and people with pre-existing medical conditions such as asthma, diabetes, and heart diseases appear to be more vulnerable to becoming severely ill with the virus. Well, the WHO advises people of all ages to take steps to protect themselves from the virus, for example, by following good hand hygiene and good respiratory hygiene. Now, Germany's Charité Hospital and German Neurodegenerative Diseases Center announced they had identified highly effective antibodies against the coronavirus and were now pursuing the development of a passive vaccination. Researchers say the passive vaccine, which is only effective for a couple of weeks, could be used as a means to offer swift protection in urgent situations, such as care home cases. Well, the group said the production of antibodies had already begun and they expected the first vaccine doses to be ready for the first phase 1 clinical trial in humans by the end of 2020 or early 2021. Well, currently, Germany has invested in a broad spectrum of companies racing to produce a vaccine, with the country securing more potential vaccine doses than the country has inhabitants.
From convalescent COVID-19 patients identified monoclonal antibodies, which showed in the lab that they very efficiently bind to virus, that they clear the virus, prevent viral spread in tissues, also in animals. And in a hamster model of COVID-19, these animals are also susceptible to SARS-CoV-2 virus, similar to humans. We could show that the lung pathology, so this type of pneumonia, is completely reverted, so the hamsters are completely healthy when they receive our monoclonal antibodies. And we hope that this is the first very promising step towards passive vaccination in humans as well.
Well, joining me now for more discussions on this is Professor Schreiber Oricha Bello, Lead Candidate Therapeutics R&D Working Group Nigeria COVID-19 Research Consortium. Good to have you on the program this evening, Professor. Now, what do you make of the recent development of a passive vaccine in
Yeah, all developments are welcome. COVID-19 is a pandemic and it doesn't give you time to do a lot of things. Ordinarily, you will reach a vaccine that is effective in around 10 years and you will need to start with a lot of them, because the success rate in the preclinical stage is like 7%, which means if you take 100 vaccines, you get to clinical with 7. And of those 7, the ones that will pass clinical will be 20% of them, around 1 or 2. So now we have like 170 on the pipeline. So you're expecting like 2 to 3 at the end of the day. Or you get a lot of results. Unfortunately, when it gets to human, not all of them do well. Now, this German vaccine is a passive vaccine. It's antibodies. They were able to locate highly effective antibodies from previously infected people and then manufacture this artificially, which you do. There are many methods of do that. And now when you have this, you give it to patients and it acts immediately, effectively. However, because the body will clear it, you don't expect it to last. It's different from the one that the body generates on its own and keep replenishing. So that is it. It's good. It's part of the things we are doing. There are a lot of efforts on the way. It's just that we are trying to do what is normally done in 10 years in 1 year or 2 years.
So, but according to researchers, we understand the passive vaccine is only effective for a couple of weeks and could be used as a means to offer swift protection in urgent situations such as the care home cases. Now, is there any vaccine like this we are working on in Nigeria?
Yeah, still at the very early stage. The idea we are doing in Nigeria is to try to develop something like that and use magni infection. Is when you move the genes. I'm trying to use simple language here. When you move the gene that will produce it and put it in tobacco, for example, because they multiply a lot, then they produce the thing very fast for you. But it's still very early stage. This thing takes a lot of time. You make predictions in silico using computer. You take that prediction to the lab. You get to succeed in a little percentage, and you keep repeating. Even those you succeed, you need to verify them. This is because as you move along, it becomes more costly. So you need to be cost effective and move only what looks to be very good.
Now, there were safety concerns of the administration of some vaccines. Recall that AstraZeneca previously halted its clinical trials for same reasons as regards to safety concerns. Now, do you think anyone will be willing to take the COVID-19 vaccine if and when it becomes available?
Well, those who go on, who help us by doing clinical trial, participating as volunteers, actually heroes of the world. This is because they are taking the risk for all of us. They are out there and they volunteer. People usually do that. There are people who will do that anytime. This is because they are healthy, especially when you do the phase 0-1. These are healthy people. The only thing you could do to them is to harm them. So that is why we use very intensive facilities with a lot of things there to help them should there be trouble. But nevertheless, a lot of steps are taken before you get to that stage. For example, if you find that certain thing is effective in animal, you go to human being in 1 over a minute amount of what you found was okay in animals, like 1 over 1,000. And this is the first thing you try in a human. All this is just to make sure that you do the thing safely. There are other safety factors we consider. You don't just jump it. So by the time we are trying it in a human being, we are pretty sure that it should be safe. It's only that you get some reaction that you don't expect in very minor case, but even that one, we don't take chances. We make every effort to make sure that optimal care is available should that happen.
Now, finally, before we let you go, now, as the race for the search for a vaccine continues, is the vaccine the only available option we have to defeat the virus?
No. Usually there are multiple options. The first thing, you want to prevent it. Usually you don't succeed, but you want to delay it if you don't succeed in preventing it so that scientists will have time to provide solutions. The solutions usually come in this method. Medications for therapy for those who are sick, and that one is challenging. So far, we have very few that are effective, only in the severe cases. And vaccine helps you prevent it and gives a lot, it's cheaper, and it's on the long run more effective to use than therapy. So you use vaccine, you use prevention method, you use hygiene, and etc. There are many methods. You go at it with a lot of arrows.
All right, and that's a fine place to leave it. Professor Schreiber Bello, lead candidate, Therapeutics R&D Working Group, Nigeria COVID-19 Research Consortium. We appreciate your insights on COVID-19 myths and facts.
Thank you.
And that's our package on today's edition of COVID-19 Myths and Facts. Thank you for watching. Remember, whatever you do, stay informed and stay safe. Bye for now.